Hello and welcome to my review of the entire Emperor's Children new releases. Now I'd like to say one thing straight away, that this new release collection video review does not include Lucius the Eternal and the Lord Cacophonist. At present, we're at the very start of May. The Lucius the Eternal model is still out of stock, and out of stock through many third-party sellers as well. So unfortunately I was not able to get hold of that model, and that's a real shame. It's out of my control. It's purely Games Workshop and their decision not to make enough. And this is becoming more and more frequent. I don't mean to start the video off in a kind of a negative way, but it's their decision not to make enough of these minis to increase the demand, so that customers or hobbyists will rush to pick these up when they're first released. And I think it's very, very disingenuous to their loyal customers and fan base, without any explanations and things as well, like any communication. It'd be great if they, they're on social media everywhere. They employ hundreds of people to deal with things like this, and well, they're just not doing their job because nothing's being communicated in terms of why things are out of stock, the reasons behind them. So it's very easy to draw the conclusion, and it's not reaching, that this is all by design, because there's no communication. If there was communication and it was transparent, and they did come out and say, really sorry, things have been out of stock, we're moving warehouses, things like that. There's power issues, there's unforeseen, because there's been no statement from them, it's safe to say to draw your own conclusions. And that's what I've done. That means that this video is kind of not complete because of their choices. Because I would have loved to have brought you an unboxing and review of Lucius the Eternal and had him in this set. It was hard enough for me to actually get hold of Fulgrim and the Flawless Blades for release as well. And of course that Champions of Slaanesh. Put it down in the comments if you too suffered any Emperor's Children pre-order or release woes. I know a few of you have reached out to me and said how ridiculous it was, how quickly the Champions of Slaanesh box set was sold out, was out of stock so quickly. 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes before it was up on pre-order, and this is a trend. You saw this at the beginning of the year with Deathcore Krieg box set. You saw this most recently with the Soulblight Gravelord's Death Rattle Army set. You've seen it with the Champions of Slaanesh. The only one we didn't see it with was with the Gloomspike Gits, wolves and things. No doubt we will see this happen again, whether they release a Imperial Fists set or a Knight set or a Salamander set or anything like that. Space Wolves, if they release something like that. But yeah, I just wanted to make a point at the beginning of the video that it doesn't include Lucius the Eternal or the Lord Cacophonist. The Lord Cacophonist, that's mainly my reason. I mean, it is out of stock as well, but that's mainly my reason in that I'm not really a big fan of the model at all. I don't think it works, and yeah, I would like to see them refresh that model or change it to fall in line with the other Noise Marines. But let's get into the rest of the review. Overall then, negativity aside, in terms of not producing enough, which is a real big detriment to themselves, the models have been fantastic. I can't say enough good things about them, other than Lord Cacophonist, which is sort of personal taste. I think it's been a very successful release for them. Maybe that's part in due to things being out of stock as well. It's still not the second coming of Death Guard by any means, but then again, Death Guard had a whole new edition backing it up, and Primaris Space Marines. People wanted the Primaris Space Marines, and people wanted the Death Guard really, and that army, that new edition box set was just the perfect one, really. The Leviathan box set, some people weren't on board fully with the Tyranids in the set, lack of options and things, but there were some good Space Marines and Primaris in there. Whereas the Death Guard and Primaris set, brilliant. Really, really good use. However, this Emperor's Children set is still a big upgrade over World Eaters. Now, the real question is, what's coming next? Will we get Thousand Suns refresh? And will we get any new units for them? If we do get Chaos Undivided, or Word Bearers, or Night Lords, for instance, or Alpha Legion, or Red Corsairs, or something like that, will they be as good as this release? I don't think so. I think we've peaked again. I think we were peaked with Death Guard, dropped down a little bit for World Eaters, and now we're peaked again with Emperor's Children. I don't think we will see the likes of this release in Thousand Suns or any of the previously mentioned legions, unfortunately. But it's nice now that we have, 4 full Chaos legions, and obviously Undivided, to draw from. We've got the Death Guard, we've got these Emperor's Children, we've got the World Eaters now, and we've got the Thousand Suns. They just need to build on them, and I do feel that this release has a few minis, a few units kind of missing, and I don't think they pushed enough on the kind of Slanesh themes and things that they could, because it is PGGW, isn't it, at the end of the day. And I would have liked to have seen more of the sort of Slanesh excess lost into this, but you've got to kind of understand what Games Workshop target demographic is, not what we know it is, but what they want it to be aimed at. But having said that, let's have a look at all of these minis. Now, the whole release started off with that Champions of Slanesh army set. Fantastic army set. Yeah, it's understandable that it was sold out quite quick. They might not have made enough though as well, and I think unfortunately Scalpers got hold of quite a few of those sets and have been selling them at crazy prices. My advice for all of these army sets, especially if they include one of those soft touch limited codexes, is just to go for it, because the limited codexes are what, £67 or so now, and the army set is normally about 145, so you're paying £80 for the minis. Usually there's an HQ choice which is at least £30 to £40, and then there's typically a unit or two of troops and a couple of elite choices as well. So you definitely save some money getting that set. I would like to see them return to form and give you some art prints and some dice, as well as the cards and the book. I think that just creates an overall better package, even if they broke the 140 sort of pound price mark and they were 150 or 160, because you've got everything in there pretty much to start a nice army, and having some dice and some cards would really just round off that product. Just having the codex, I mean the codex is a given, but the cards are a little bit of a, oh, there you go, here's some cards, because they kind of go with your codex. Just some extra pieces. I don't think it's special enough just to have a unique codex for that force. But the codex was good, the cards are good, and the models, at first I thought, oh geez, 12 Noise Marines, that's a lot. But you can customize them, you can swap those weapons around, and to each one you can swap the heads around. There's enough customization available to have, I'd say, 18 of them, and they all look very different. You probably would have a very similar looking Noise Marine Lord with that third squad, but still. It also included these right here in front of you, the Infractors. Now, the important to note is the Infractor box set and the Tormentor box set are one and the same. So I could have built 2 units of 10 Infractors. These are the Infractors, or I could have built 2 Tormentors, or like I did, 1 of each. And that was mainly to give you 2 separate reviews and to show you what kind of options you can equip them with. Again, all of the models, they have the same legs. Unfortunately, there's only 5 of them that are duplicated. So if you've got 20 of them, you're going to have 4 sets of like the same legs. And I really wish that they would stop producing sculpting these minis and sprues with just 5 miniatures in mind. They should really bump up the scope to 10. I know there's still a big improvement from what we used to have with the standard Space Marines and just their standing poses. We're getting a lot more variation, but to expand that and have 10 different looking legs, it's just a massive benefit. Even if it costs them a bit more money to produce these sprues with 10 different legs, they're going to sell probably double more, I would think, because if there's one thing I know, it's that the community would like customization and variation in their sort of horde units. I know this isn't a horde army, but you get what I mean. Luckily though, all the weapons and things can all be swapped out between all of them, which is a fantastic move. These were the Tormentors. Great play there with them including 2 plasma guns and 2 melter guns in that set. So that's one of the upsides of having those 5 torsos, 5 legs duplicated, is that you're going to be getting, you know, 2 plasmas or two melters, and you can equip the unit with 2 of each if you wish. I've gone for one or the other. The Obsessionist is pretty cool. The whip, the lash is nice. You can go for the, you know, power sword and plasma pistol or bolt pistol if you want. So everything is decent about them except for, you know, the duplication of those leg poses. The HQ is gorgeous, gives you plenty of options to have pistols, to have that spear, to have the power claw, different head options. A great addition to, you know, the Chaos Lord offerings in the form of Emperor's Children one. Then we come on to the Flawless Blades. A set of expensive 3 models there with hardly any parts compared to like Blade Guard Veterans. You can swap the weapons around though, which is important, and they do come with, you know, dual sabers or the big blades. In rules wise, they're all called Bliss Blades. I said in my review that they may change that in the future and give you different rules profiles for the dual blades as opposed to the larger ones. But at the moment they're all the same, so at least from a rules point of view that gives you confidence of equipping them all with dual swords and they're still technically Bliss Blades. I think all the heads in that set let the models down a little bit. The poses are good though, like the leg poses and the torsos and things. They just seem to me like a bit of a downgrade from Blade Guard, and they're very big as well. You think that the Tormentors and Infractors are big because they are Primaris size, sometimes a little bit taller than Primaris. These guys are even bigger. They're not 8-pound sort of size wise, but they're just tall, very big Space Marines. And but at least their aesthetics go well with the rest of the Emperor's Children units. And then we get to the start of the show, and my favourite model out of this whole release. Lucius comes a very close second. If I was able to get my hands on Lucius, I would have tier listed Fulgrim as an S and Lucius as an S, with the Lord Exultant coming in at an A. I think Fulgrim as a package, he's got the least number of components. I'm not sure how many Magnus has, but he's got the least number compared to the rest of the Demon Primarchs. He doesn't have a scenic base whatsoever. His 130mm round base can be a bit odd if you don't put things on it, additional icons, accessories, but he's boosted up by him being a joy to build and his rules being amazing. Very strong Demon Primarch. Not too many rules, just enough, and he's one of the fastest units you'll have. The only thing faster will be that screaming Helldrake at 20 inches. Star of the show for me. I wasn't wholly sold on his pose, and in particular his face. I think the face doesn't get in the way as much because he's quite hunched over, whereas on the box he looks more upright. But he's my favourite mini and release of all of these new releases for Emperor's Children. He's better than Angron in my opinion, and I've got an inkling that the transfigured version that Forge World make in resin would be incredible for that extra £80. Much bigger wings. I think everything's in proportion for him. I think he works. And I think he works well with the rest of the army too, as one of your big monster centerpiece units. So in summary, I think it was a decent release, stock issues aside. I think the models were all very strong. It was a better release than World Eaters. I have high hopes for like a Thousand Suns refresh, or them adding more Night Lords that we saw from the Kill Team, maybe Red Corsairs, maybe other Legion factions. I do think there are a couple of units missing from this release. I would always like to see them go full hog with these Chaos Legion releases, much like they did with Death Guard. Introduce some Dark Mechanicum, introduce some Demon Engines. Try not to rely too much on your Age of Sigmar Chaos God minis. But what do you guys think of the Emperor's Children new releases? And which was your favourite mini? And why? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be good to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Death to the False Emperor.